Hey guys, it's Coach Yana, and today I'm answering one of your questions. So, what causes lack of confidence in a child? Now, this is quite a big question, so we're going to unpack it on a general term, just because, as we all know, all children are different, so you can't apply everything to everyone. However, in general, one of the top things that I've noticed as a children's confidence coach that causes lack of confidence in children, the top thing I've noticed is overly critical parents and guardians, people who are around them that they are seeking validation from, who will do everything but give them the validation that they're seeking, even when they clearly deserve it and need it. When a child, excuse me, is not validated by those who it seeks validation from, then it causes an imbalance and insecurity because you need the validation as feedback to let you know if what you're doing is right or wrong. And confidence comes from making right decisions, having success, being independent, knowing when to ask for help, and all of those things. All of that comes into play when you are developing confidence. So if you don't have someone who is giving you that positive reinforcement to let you know that, hey, what you're doing is the right thing, then you don't have the confidence to know that what you're doing is correct. Because you don't have someone to back it off of, because part of, especially when you're new at something, and children are new at pretty much everything, you need someone you trust to validate and let you know, okay, this is the right decision. Or, I don't really know, maybe not this, maybe do that, maybe wait. You need someone to validate what's happening around you. So having that open line of communication is one of the first ways to develop confidence in a child. And if you're noticing a lack of confidence, check and see if you are hypercritical or if you are, always nitpicking at them and nagging at them for the things that they don't do well. Now, on the flip side, because we know that, everybody hears differently. So on the flip side, you can also do too much affirming, and then it counteracts. So every single thing here, there's a balance. So just as much as you can't be overly critical, you can't be overly complimentary either, because then you give a fake sense of confidence because you are telling them that what they're doing is right, but the world is shunning and saying, no, like, I know that your mommy said that you were awesome and great at the violin, but you're not as awesome and great. And then, it throws a balance and it creates a lack of trust. And then you can even get resentment from your child because you are overly affirming them, but the world doesn't see what you see, So there's a balance there where not only do you have to make sure that you are not overly critical of them, but you also have to make sure that you're not overly, babying and coddling so that you prevent them from growing and you prevent them from seeing the reality of what the current situation is. Because in order to improve, you have to know where you are. So it's important that you have a balance there. So those are the things that come first ready to my mind. Another way that you can determine like what is developing a lack of confidence in your child is really getting to know them. That is the biggest thing. And as a children's confidence coach, I can tell you that from 45 minutes of playing video games with a child weekly, I can know them enough to know when they feel good, when they feel bad, when they're saying that they're okay, but they're really not. And that's from 45 minutes of playing a video game on one of my social clubs with other students, mind you. And I, in that amount of time, know the students that are in the club for a long period of time. I know them well enough to notice when something's off. So you have to build the relationship to know your child well enough to determine, okay, well, I can't ask this child a direct question, but I can ask this one. And it's not about coddling and reshaping the world around them, because, then there's those people that are like, well, I grew up this way and I'm fine. I grew up this way and I'm fine. It's like, okay, but if you had an adult that would have supported you and protected you, how much trauma would you have avoided? So you can say all you want to the cows come home that you turned out just fine. But if you're watching this video, it's because you know that deep down that there's something in you that wants more for your child. Period. And it's okay. It's okay to want to be a better parent to your child than, or guardian to your child than whoever raised you. And it's not about adjusting the whole world to the child, but the child is a child, So if you're going to adjust for anyone, it should be a child, because they have to learn how things work. So you can't just hold children to this such a high standard that you don't even meet, or that as an adult, you're not hitting that. You're not even half of, in some capacity, you have to be achieving those things too. So when you get to know them, you build the trust in them so that they will share when they're feeling lack of confidence in certain things, and you'll just notice it. You won't even have to ask like what causes it, because it's different for each child. You'll be able to see, oh, okay, my child does not feel confident when it comes to math, because when we got to the math part of the game, he or she started moving weird. And that's what they do when they're not confident. There's some children or people who will like start scratching the back of their neck. There's some who will laugh. There's some when they're nervous, they'll say different things. So you really have to get to know your child, all right? And that's the biggest way, because when they feel supported, even if you do everything else not so great, okay? But if they at least know in their heart of hearts that at least one person, the person who brought them into this world, or the person who cares enough to support them in this world, if they know that that person has their back, they'll have a basic foundation of confidence regardless. Now, does that mean that they're not going to have uneasy moments? Does that mean that they're always going to have courage and never be fearless? No, but it does mean that they'll have a base level foundation to rebuild upon should they need to. Period. So it is important that not only do you focus on, okay, how can I help this child become the best that they can be? How can I get to know my child enough so that when they're off, I'll notice it. So that when they're off, I'll feel it. Like even when I was working at this nonprofit, working with high schoolers, you can just feel that there's something off. So I'm not going to go into the full story, but I'll just say there was, all that to say, even teenagers, as much as people love to give teens a bad rep, teens are just bigger children with bigger emotions. They need more validation. They need you around significantly more. They need you. And you build that trust and dynamic with them while they're children. And if you're always there for them, that in a way that they can receive it, if there's open lines of communication, then they'll just develop into confidence. Yeah, are there going to be things like, okay, maybe I need Coach Yana and I'm here. Maybe I need to get this book, or maybe, blah, 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 blah. But as long as you are consistently putting in the effort to get to know your child, you won't even have to ask this question of what causes lack of confidence in children, because you'll know your child enough to know where it's coming from. All right. And the same thing that causes lack of confidence in you is the same thing that causes lack of confidence in your child. Sometimes it's just more painful to admit that that's what it is, because it sucks. The worst pain that you can have is knowing that you've hurt someone, especially someone that you care about. And I gather that it's even more so with someone that you created. It's a really hard pill to swallow, that perhaps you did something flawed or bad or wrong or mean to your child. But another thing that can help bridge that situation is apologizing to children, owning up to when you make mistakes, and then do better, because that instills another layer of confidence in them. It's really about the day-to-day treatment of them. Everybody's going to hurt you. Everybody's going to hurt your feelings. They're going to hurt your feelings. But you have to remember, as the adult in the situation, that you are the adult. They are a child, and they are reflecting you. So what you do to them, they're going to mirror it back one way or the other. So stand firm in your position as the authority, and also remember that they are a human with feelings and big emotions that they don't understand. Like, you have to remember, this is a child. That's another thing. And children take everything and make it so big. That's why I say it's so important to get to know them. Because when you really, 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 really know a child, you know when something's off. They don't have to say anything. Especially when you're like tapped in as a parent, you can feel that stuff from miles away. There's so many times where I was in a pickle and my mom just so happened to call right at the moment because she knows me. We're connected. We're tuned in. So that is the biggest thing, is making sure that your child feels supported by you, that they know that you are in their corner. And as long as they know that, anything that they're up against, they can succeed at. On top of knowing from previous experiences that they can do it too. So like I said, you can't overly compliment them. You can't overly save them either. There's a very, very, very delicate balance. And that's why it's so important to learn and know the personality type of the child that you're dealing with. And then you can go from there. All right. This is Coach Yana. And remember, I am a children's confidence coach. I've created an entire ecosystem. So stay tuned for the snippet of one of my episodes for my Imagination Land series. One of my students challenged me to make 100 episodes, and I'm currently on episode 9 with the other episodes loading. So stay tuned. Oh, and then like and share this video because somebody's child needs it.
But I really wanted to tell you all. Oh me, oh my shepherd's pie. It took me forever to finally catch up with you. I just want to let you know that I am the #1 superty duperty fan of the Human Fan Club. I know everything that there is to know about humans. And if you've spotted one, I will tell you some cool, interesting facts. They wear socks on their feet. They like to have popcorn, and they have water bottles. I think I misheard you. Did you just say water bottle? I mean, what could they need for a water bottle? Why would they put water in a bottle?